So as some of you guys know, last month I had an extremely good month, like my best month ever, honestly, throughout all my businesses. Since me starting 3 years ago, my first business, which is a social media marketing agency, and then obviously today, 3 years later, I'm 19 years old. And last month I made over six figures in personal profit. And, I could talk revenue, I could talk all these other numbers, but that's not authentic. It's not real. It doesn't matter. Revenue doesn't mean anything. I think there's a saying, it says, revenue feeds the ego, profit feeds the family. I think that's a pretty good description of the two. And in this video, I want to give you guys some honest lessons from me where this year has honestly just been like an insane year. It's just been a really good year for me in a lot of different ways. And last year and the year before there were times that were really, really bad, really hard times that you have to go through and that I think everyone has to go through. But those times are going through those times is what's going to decide and what's going to essentially project in your future. Are you going to make, progress, really significant progress or not, based on how you handle those hard situations? And I'm gonna just give the best lessons I can. And before I go into it, I will say it was such a full circle moment for me because a couple days ago, I was upstairs in my just bedroom. I still live with my parents, for those of you guys that know. And I was going through my journal, a journal I had, and I was writing through every single day for my first 6 months of starting my agency when I was 16. And it was such a full circle moment because I had a page. I didn't even know I wrote this, but it had a page of just me saying, I'm going to make 100K a month from the top of the page all the way down. I don't know why I put that there. I don't at the time I didn't make anything. I made no money, but I said, I will make 100K a month. And I randomly looked back at that. I haven't looked at that journal in probably a year and a half. And for me to find that randomly right after that last month is just crazy to me, and it's for those of you guys that know where I started, I was at a super low point, I think a lot of people say, oh, they started at low points or whatever, but you guys can see me at the low point on this YouTube channel on camera. You could visibly see it in the way I looked, the way I talked, everything. I was 16 years old. I hated school. I didn't really have any friends. I didn't have any money, and I had nothing going for me, and it's I was almost depressed in a sense. And that's really hard for people to admit. And I don't even like that word. I don't like the word depressed at all. I think a lot of it's just you use that as a shield to blame your life on you being depressed. Although you actually have problems you need to resolve and fix yourself. But the point was I had nothing going for me. And 3 years later, how fast things have transformed, it's crazy. So the first lesson I have is, especially, and this is mainly made for people who want to make money online or going to this online money world, is people don't care, you're really worried about people seeing what business you're starting, what video you're posting or whatever. No one cares as much as you. And this is so hard for people to understand. It was so hard for me to understand too. But you think your perception is going to be changed by other people if you go try to take a risk. Maybe you post Instagram content and your friends see Instagram content, or maybe you post YouTube videos, or whatever you do. You spend money to build a business, but in the time of you spending money to try to build that business, you're going broke. And that's super embarrassing, right? That is a really embarrassing reality, that you're spending all your money and you're going broke into you trying to make money. And while everyone just looks at you and is dude, you have no money. It's a really, really hard thing to look at. And 99% of the time, it's you sitting in a room getting progress when no one sees it. And it's the 1% of the time where people see you buy the watch, okay? Or they buy the car, or they buy the whatever. And that is what people will glorify you over, right? People don't care you had to go through that hard stuff. You have to go through a bunch of shit if you want me to be real with you. And even just a week ago, you guys may look at me and be oh, Carson, you're sitting down on this throne and you're just talking down on, on us you don't have any problems. Guys, I have so many problems. Understand that personally, business, everything. There's so many things that goes on. And it's sometimes very hard to share with anyone, and you just have to kind of, resolve them. There's no other thing than just resolving them. And even a week ago, I'll give you guys an example. my entire Instagram account got deleted. You know, I had like 4,000, 5,000 followers or something. Nothing huge. But I use that for a lot of factors in my business, whether it's hiring, communication with people I know. I didn't even post any reels. I didn't post anything. I don't know why I got banned or got deleted. Like, I really don't know. And that is like a big asset I had that's now gone. But here's the reality of that. No one cares. No one cares as much as me because it's mine. No one cares as much as you to go after what you want compared to you because they're not you. You know, they can just judge, they can say something, they can say a comment or whatever, but it's never going to be as much care into something as you because it's your life. You know, you're the only one who can really control that. So that's the lesson number one, which is don't go after this game for seeking validation. Because if you do that, you've got a really hard journey ahead of you because you're not going to get far, you know, if you want me to be honest, because no one cares. And you get the car, you get the watch, you get whatever. It's cool for a couple days. Everyone forgets about it, you know? And that's like the hard reality people have to admit. It's really hard, especially since other people who maybe you're watching this right now and you're at a low point and you want the cars or the watches, you want the crazy stuff. You guys, and this is going to sound really bad, but you're almost never going to be the top dog. There might be 1% of you watching this video who will. Probably 1% of you who will actually take action, very honestly, and make something of yourself, at least, you know, after watching this video or while you're watching this video. But there's kids who are 18, 19, 20, 21 years old who have 10, $50 million, you know? How are you going to top that? It's really hard, you know? It's like very, very, very hard to. So you can't have that look that you're just going to be the best, you know, or the top dog, unless you're really going to put in the 0.0001% effort and to get it. And at that point, you're not doing it for external validation. You're doing it because you love the game. And that's the reality. The most successful people I know that work beyond being worth $10, $100 million are doing it because they love the game. And they're addicted to winning and work. They're not addicted to the new car, the new watch that other people see them with. It gets old, you know? Like, and this is speaking from someone who lives with my parents and has, I mean, I have, I guess, a lot of money in watches, but like, you know, this is just from what I've seen. I've spoken with a lot of people who are at these levels, whether they're 20 years old and they're worth 10 million or they're, you know, I don't know, 50 years old and worth 100 million. You know, it's the same in all ways. So that's that. Number two is you guys should really, and this is speaking for me doing this, you should document your journey. You should do it publicly, right? One of the reasons I attribute to where I'm at today is because I did things public. I built everything with every month since I started. There was a YouTube video from Carson. You know, people can see the entire progression from overweight, depressed, video game addicted 16-year-old who had no money to the Carson today. And the Carson today will see the Carson Reed at 22 years old and 25 years old and be able to look at the entire journey. And that public accountability can be the thing that forces you to go that extra 1% or the extra 10%. Because you don't want in eyes of other people to fail, right? Like that's a real thing. For me, I didn't want to post videos on this channel, and I've said this on other videos. I didn't want to post videos on this channel and then just be gone off the face of the earth. Oh, where did he go? He failed. You know, typical. I see it everywhere. Everyone does it. But who actually goes through with it? That's that force you need to put on yourself. And if you have to make videos that force, you know, you to be maybe embarrassed a little bit for other people you know to see it, that is going to push you to go and see it through, then do it. Okay? Like, it's so huge. And like, I'll give another lesson right here, because this came up just yesterday. And this is me. I got totally flamed on a call with someone a mentor of mine, pretty much, I guess you could say. He's pretty well known and he works with guys who are doing very, very well, I'll say. You know, like he consults people who are making millions a month. Okay? And I had a call with him and he jumped on. He's like, Carson, you are way too slow. And he's speaking to me. I'm pretty fast, I think, in a lot of ways. But I wasted 2 days on something. He's like, dude, this is ridiculous. Do not waste my time. And the point in the lesson was, in that same day, after I spoke with him, I fixed everything. I worked for the next 11 hours and I got it all done. And it was like 11 hours worth of work I had to do. Speed is extremely important, especially when you're starting. And here's the example he gave to me. I'm not going to say his name, but some of you guys would know him. There's probably 100 or maybe thousands of people in your exact same situation, okay? that are all wanting the same things you want, who is actually going to get to that prize, or who's going to get to that next level? Everyone can't, okay? If there's 1,000 people and only 100 people can complete the race, there's 900 people that will fail, okay, and will get kicked out. Then there's going to be that 100 people. There's going to be 10 people at the end of that finish line. Out of those 100 people, who's going to make it to that 10? Who are the 90 that are going to get cut out? It's a race to the next thing. And if you are slow in business, in life, in anything, especially when you're starting, you will get crushed. You will get killed, okay? That is a real thing. Speed in business is extremely important, and I have to do a better job of it myself, okay? Honestly, I do, like it doesn't matter. Like almost anyone can go a little bit harder and a little bit faster in a lot of different ways in business. So that was a massive kind of wake up for me, even a couple days ago. I'm just honestly transparently sharing that, but especially when you're starting. If you're watching this video and you haven't made your first $10,000, $100,000, it's all about speed, implementation, and getting to that next step. Most of you guys know the next step. It's like fat people that say, oh, I don't know how to become fit, in the gym or whatever. Dude, yes, you do. Calories, watch your calories, and go to the gym. That's it, okay? And everyone knows this. Everyone knows it. But there's so many people who are overweight and don't want to admit that, okay? It's like self-gaslighting yourself. You're gaslighting yourself. And it's very common. Anyways, I digress. That's the last point there. But speed is extremely important, okay? The way you guys watch these videos, you need to be taking action on everything you do very fast, okay? But of course, with quality, you're not going to throw stuff up and it's all just trash. So, yeah. And then one of the last lessons I have, and I'm going to kind of end it off here, is track numbers, okay? Numbers can mean a lot in a lot of different ways. It could be your weight. It could be how many outreach DMs you do a day, how much money you spend on ads for your business, and how much results you get back. You need to start tracking metrics in your life and have goals, okay? This is one thing I do extremely well, I think, and I've publicly done this. You guys can go on my channel. You guys can see my 2024 goals video, and you can see my 2025 goals video, all right? I made that video at the start of this year, 2025 goals. Everything's done. Everything was accomplished, okay? And the fact everything was accomplished is because I knew where I was going. I knew my North Star. A lot of people don't have goals, and when you don't have goals, or you don't have a plan, it's a dream, okay? So you're never gonna know where you're going or how fast you're going compared to your competitors or compared to how fast you really wanna go or the results you really want because you didn't map them out clearly. And when you have goals, you can start to work the math back on how to get to those goals. So I'll give you guys an example. Let's say you wanna lose 10 pounds, okay? Now you need to do a math equation on what is your daily calorie intake, how much are you going to the gym a week, how much activity are you doing, etc. And you guys can see with math, where are you on track to lose 10 pounds? How long is that going to take based on your current situation? Same thing in business. You guys want to make 10 grand a month. Cool. How many clients is that? How many sales is that? What's the average order value? What's your close rate? What's your show rate? What's your churn rate of clients that come in? You guys need to map this stuff out and be conservative on these numbers. And if you can do that, you're going to have a good likelihood of achieving these goals because you know where you're going. You have that North Star. So anyways, guys, I know this has been a little bit of a rant in a video, but like at the end of the day, these are just really, really important things that people don't make and map out as clearly as they should. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this has been valuable. I may do more of these if people like them, but yeah, just know where you're at, whether you're making $0, you're making 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 a month, whatever it is, that I've likely been in your shoes. And there's when it gets hard is when you know how strong of a person you are and how far you can go. Because if you don't handle those situations fast and with, courage and strength, you're going to get eaten alive by people who will. And that's the hard reality. This is PvP, competition. You're competition with me watching this. I'm in competition with you, okay? So don't think for a second that you can slack because, something in your life happened that every single week you find a different excuse. It's not going to work. Your competitors won't, okay? Or at least the good ones won't. And those people will go far. So that's my lessons today. I hope you guys found this valuable, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.